Good morning. So it's literally like 11 a.m. We were not late getting out of the room. We were late for a panel that I kind of wanted to go to, but Tootsie left early so she could try to make it. But we're here at the con and we're all checked out of our hotel and we're actually running like on really good time, which is really weird because, you know, that doesn't normally happen for us. But yeah, I'm in Ichi today. It's not that bad. It could be hotter, and I'm sure it'll get hotter, but I'm wearing shorts and sandals with it, so it's not that bad. We have a panel we're gonna hit up today, and then we're just gonna scope out the dealers, look at some cosplay, and enjoy our last day here. This has been a fantastic convention, and honestly, for someone who's freaking out about finals, a really good escape, because the minute I step back into my hometown, I now have to panic about my grades. Yay!
Okay, so when I got started, I never knew what cosplay was before I started, and I also have to hold this because the back is broken, so I'm not just being weird. It's like cradle like a baby or something. But I went to my first convention back in I think 2013, and I just really like Japanese pop culture stuff, and I never heard of anime conventions, and there was one in my hometown, and I was like, okay, can we like please go to this? And I had like 8 friends that I went with. And we went and it was really fun, but you know when you go to a convention with like a bunch of people, they all kind of go and do their own thing, and none of those people do what you want to do, so you're kind of just like, okay, I'll just like tag along and like walk, whatever. And I didn't really have as much fun as I thought I would, so I told 2 of my best friends that the next year we just go, just us 2. And we went back and I saw cosplayers for the first time, and I was like, oh my god, what the hell is like Naruto doing running around screaming at people? Like, I had no idea what it was. And, like, I thought it was a little strange at first because I didn't understand it. But the more I like watched people cosplaying and like how they had their own like little groups of people and they were like yelling at each other and like running around, I was like, this is really cool because I worked a retail job, and if you guys work retail, you know like it just drains your life. And I worked from like noon until like 9 o'clock at night, and then I go to the gym and go home, and I had no life. So I really, really wanted to make friends, and I saw that as a way of making a lot of friends. So the next year, I told my best friend, who's a super nerdy computer engineer guy, and he's really quiet, and I'm like, okay, listen, I'm so scared, but I really want to cosplay. And he's like, why? Like, I don't know, I just want to do it. It looked really fun. Just like, you know, like you have a bucket list and you just want to check it off the list. I wanted to do it once. And I'm like, I need you to do it with me because I'm too scared. And he's like, okay, I'll go with you. And I did Koga, that was my first cosplay I ever did. And he did Shippo from Inuyasha. But his deal was, he's like, I'm not wearing a wig. That's the only thing I won't do. I'm like, okay, that's fine, just go with me. And we went together, and after that, it was just like an addiction, because like the feeling of when you cosplay for the first time, that's a character that you really love and you're with your friends, it's like, you can never top that feeling, and it just made me want to do it more. And then after that, I literally just like wanted to do it forever. But yeah, that's how I got started. My first convention was a few years ago, but I didn't start cosplaying until a few years later. But my grandma was honestly one of my biggest inspirations as well. So my mom's side of the family is Japanese, and my dad's is French. But I used my grandma's maiden name, Mizuno, for my cosplay name because of how much it means to both of us and how it kind of brought our family together. So Mizuno is not my actual last name, but it's kind of like a tip of the fedora to my grandma. So the most important thing for you guys is, I know how hard it is, especially with like your family and with your friends, because a lot of my friends thought it was weird that I was cosplaying too, which sucked, but it happens. Is to always keep some kind of passion in your life. So if you love cosplay, if you love like whatever work you do, if you love painting or something, never tell yourself that you don't have enough time to do it, because that like kills me inside, because if I listened to my friends when they said it was weird and I stopped cosplaying, I would have never been able to be here with you guys. So please just like dedicate even like a small like little time slot, like once a week or like every day, like whatever it is, just keep what you love in your life, because you never know when someone's going to open up a door for you. You have to be ready, and you can never predict when it's going to happen. So that's kind of like one thing that I was listening to my mom about.
So we're going to go ahead and talk Anime St. Louis, do a quick con recap, and then kind of score the con as a whole. So we usually do this as pros and cons. So the first impression of the con for me was it was comfortable. It was a very chill, inviting, but relaxed atmosphere. So, like...
Yeah, same. It was, like, really easy to, like, sometimes if you go to a con, you can tell that you're not, like, with, like, bigger cons, I think, you can tell that you're not in with, like, the clique. Like, if you don't have a clique, you're going to be, like, overwhelmed. And this, I felt like you could get in with, like, you could talk to anyone. It was super inviting.
Yeah, the people that attend this con are so nice and open to making new friends, and we met and talked to like a bunch of people or people that we had known from other conventions. If they saw us, they were like, hey, and we were like, hey, and then we got to talk, and I got to see people and friends that I've made throughout the conventions. So it's a really nice con because it doesn't feel stressful as like go, 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 and that really is up to the con goer. But if you're going to this con for the first time and you kind of don't know what to expect, you don't feel rushed. You don't feel, like maybe there's too much going on, which is really great. Surprisingly, I went to 4 panels, which is really rare because like that doesn't normally happen. And the panels we went to were pretty hit or miss. Even the ones that were not that great were still good. And so it's kind of like I can tell that maybe they try to give people a chance. If you've never run a panel, they'll give you the chance, the benefit of the doubt, and then let you give it a go. And it's tricky to be a panelist, you never know. So like for what it was really good. Especially the Vitamin H panels. I love them. If there is a panel being run by Vitamin H, I highly recommend it because they are a hilarious duo and it's really good stuff.
I also like that they had a lot of variety in the panels. Mm-hmm. They had like the typical like craftsmanship and then like just different other kinds of stuff, but then they invited things that weren't necessarily anime or Japanese related I know they had like Caleb doing Disney panels again, and then they also had like cosplay positivity panel, and then they even had like an introduction to cosplay makeup panel, which I kind of wanted to go to, but I didn't have a chance to, so I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, so they had a pretty good variety panel-wise. It was almost kind of hard not to find something at least each day that you would have been interested to go to. We didn't really do a whole lot on Friday, but Saturday and Sunday we did. So one of my cons, jumping into the cons of the con, was that the staff members that were there, they were great, they were sweet, and they were very kind. I did notice that there wasn't a lot of them around as much as what I was used to, and so it kind of hindered things like lines. When you got into a line for a panel, either the line was created by the people attending the panel or the people that were going to be the panelists. You didn't really, unless it got super out of control, like one of the 18 plus panels, the line stretched about 3 times within the hallway, and the one running it was one of the panelists, and they sent her a couple people to help manage the line, and that was great. But that was the only instance where I saw somebody actually getting actual help from a staff member to organize the lines. Otherwise, we kind of just wandered around and had to ask people, hey, what is this a line? Because it's kind of just this cluster of people outside of rooms, and then it's like people would cut in line because you never really knew what was the start of the line or the end of the line, and there was no staff member there to tell you, hey, that's the end of the line. Oh, I guess I should do it this. That's the end of the line, or this is the beginning, or whatever. But the ones that were there, they were extremely helpful and sweet and nice, and I never saw or came across a rude... This is the first convention, I would just like to say, This is the first convention I have ever been to in my entire life that I have not had one experience with a mean staff member. So way to go, Anime St. Louis. And that was primarily my only real gripe. It's been a couple days since the con. I've been trying to think about it, and I really couldn't think of any major gripes because honestly, it's a really chill and good con. It's a great starter.
And it really, it's a great starter con. I think it helped that the weather was super nice. Now, if the weather was really bad, it might have been a little more clogged inside because people were going outside because they have beautiful scenery to take pictures. And there was a trolley that would take you to downtown St. Charles and where you could do pictures. So I feel like if the weather had been horrible, maybe we'd have like a little more, hey, it's a little, like, it was crowded, but we didn't have that.
Yeah. So fortunately for the way that the layout worked, had it been crowded in the convention center, we would probably have a lot more to gripe about. But the fact that the weather was nice and there was always people outside, always people hanging out around the really pretty areas and scenery. The venue was wonderful for pictures. Just amazing, really nice. The AC was blasting in there, and it was just the best because if you had been outside, it was getting humid outside. You could come inside.
Actually got chilly walking around.
Yeah, it depended on what you were wearing, but they kept the AC on in the entire convention center really well, which is good because it was hot outside, so people were sweating, and no one wants to deal with that at a convention. Really, I don't have a whole lot to gripe about with Anime St. Louis. I think they did a great job, and actually, I would highly recommend it if it is your first convention. This is a great starter con. Fantastic starter con.
Or if you just want to go have a good time and you're like in the middle of something hectic, like this is a nice thing to just like kind of take you away from reality and just like chill. Like they had the game room was super fun, and the lines were for the game room were nothing
very
like
reasonable.
at Naka.
Very reasonable lines for the game room. You could actually play that one game if you wanted to.
And there were times where we didn't have anyone behind us, so we just kept playing.
Yeah, I mean, so it was great. There was a lot of games in there though.
Yeah,
there was more games in there than there was at Naka. So, but yeah, it honestly. I loved Anime St. Louis. I had a great time. Thank you guys so much for bringing me. It was so much fun, and I honestly want to go back.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to next year for sure. My only complaint isn't even to do with the convention. It was to do with our hotel room.
Let's not talk about the hotel room and the toilet that like to spit at us. Make sure you book your hotels
ahead of time.
Yeah, everybody knows that, and make sure that you don't
this was definitely a last minute like thing for us. So by the time I went to go book, because I do all of our booking, all of our travel arrangements. This was pretty much the only hotel close enough to the convention that was reasonable price. And it was a pretty nice hotel. It was a decent hotel. It had pieces of it that probably need to be updated to this century.
It looks like it was made in the 80s and no one has touched it since. But it is really close to a ridiculously good Chinese buffet. So go across the street to that really good Chinese buffet. Like, so good. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up because I don't want to like have this drain on forever. But for the most part, Anime St. Louis, good con. I'd give it a positive B. It's really, really good. It's a good starter con. So if you've never been to a con, good starter. If you want something light but fun for the beginning of your summer, maybe your possibly crazy hectic summer con season, I would suggest Anime St. Louis. I'm not sure of the exact dates for next year or if they've been announced, but if they are, I will put them right here like I have done before with other cons. But for the most part, that's it. And we'll probably be going next year, honestly.
Yeah, even if we don't get invited, I feel like it's well worth the price. If you get the tickets right away, it's well worth the weekend pass. So definitely, yeah, if you get a chance, go. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it is. All right, so that's all for Anime St. Louis. Thank you again for everyone that was nice to us, that said hi to us, and for giving me gifts or just being like really sweet and making new friends.
And some embarrassing stories, but again, we won't get into that.
Oh my gosh.
Saw it in the clips.
Yep, you've seen her go nuts over Phil. Anyway, but thank you guys again for watching. My next convention is the big boy. We're going to Anime EXPO 2018.
And at the point of this filming, we still haven't bought our plane tickets.
Yeah, why you gotta throw us under the bridge like that?
Because this is real life.
Yep, real life where we don't have like anything figured out ever. But anyway, yeah, the next one I'll be going to is Anime Expo. I will keep you guys updated on cosplay and what I'll be doing when I'm there, and I'm just super, super excited. So thank you guys so much for watching. You can go visit all the different vlogs for Anime St. Louis right now, and I will see you guys next video. Bye!